Welcome to Gene's Reviews, where I basically do whatever the hell I want. Hello, everybody. Okay, I usually don't do these type of videos, but I've been seeing a lot of this about the movie Sound of Freedom. I don't know if you guys have heard about it or not, but I think this is pretty important to talk about. But it's a movie that recently came out, and it hasn't been hardly getting any advertising or anything like that because they're suppressing it. And it has to deal with trafficking of children. And it just baffles me that it's not getting any exposure, you know. But although, just by word of mouth, it beat out the Indiana Jones movie the very first weekend. It made more money than the new Indiana Jones movie did. Walt Disney passed on this movie. A bunch of other ones passed on it. A lot of the people that they wanted to play the main part. Okay, the movie's about a guy named Tim Ballard. And he runs a group called Operation Underground Railroad, or he used to. He doesn't anymore. But what they do is they go rescue people that are trafficked, children. And it's a really big deal. And they made this movie all about it, and it's all based on truth. And the main star is Jim Caviezel. He played the part of Jesus in Passion of the Christ. He's been in a lot of other movies also, like The Count of Monte Cristo. And that's just one. He's been in a lot. And yeah, let's watch this video on it, and it will explain to you exactly what's going on.
So yesterday I did a video on Sound of Freedom absolutely destroying Indiana Jones on the 4th of July, which is a pretty big deal considering how small of a movie this is compared to the juggernaut from Lucasfilm. That's a very telling thing when you have the majority of people choosing to see a film like this versus something like Indiana Jones. And as I said yesterday in my video, the topic of the situation regarding Sound of Freedom, it should not really matter if you're left, right, up, down, whatever your politics swing, whatever your religious beliefs are. It really shouldn't matter. Everybody should be on the same page saying that trafficking children in any form is a terrible and horrible thing and needs to stop. Unfortunately, there are a lot of evil people out there. And I can't think of another word to describe The Guardian and this headline. So if you look here, it says, Sound of Freedom, Jason thriller seducing America. Jim Caviezel stars as a hero trying to stop child traffickers in a paranoid new movie.
See, they're trying to slam the movie for some reason.
Box office hit. Think about that for a second. Think about what they are trying to say and how they are trying to spin this to individuals who maybe haven't seen this movie yet. This is the most evil thing that you could possibly say. To sit there and say that child trafficking is some type of
and saying that it's paranoid,
right-wing paranoia idea. This is absolutely insanity. Now, it doesn't surprise me because, as I've said, I know that there's a lot of terrible individuals in the world, but just to see this being produced for millions to see, essentially, just shows you how disturbing things have really become. And I'm going to go into some actual facts of child trafficking and whatnot here in just a second, but I really want to dig into how they are painting the picture of this movie, because this, like I said, is very, very evil, and it makes sense as to why this publication would push this type of headline when you find out some of the people behind this publication. But let's get into the article real quick. So in the first paragraph here, they really try to dismiss the idea that it's a big deal that they even beat Indiana Jones at the box office. And honestly, it is a big deal. That your juggernaut like Indiana Jones should be smashing every single movie in its way for weekends. Not just one weekend, but multiple weekends, and we already know that Indiana Jones is a massive flop. So this entire article and publication is literally propaganda, and it's all nonsense. Journalism, we all know by now, is officially dead. The experts, quote-unquote, are not experts. They are paid shills to push out a narrative and to deceive the reader from the actual truth. But here's where they really start to take things sideways. No matter what these figures require selective, almost willfully misleading framing to allow for the David and Goliath narrative trumpeted by supporters as the copious tweets accusing Disney of being in cahoots with the global cabal of high power make clear the truth doesn't have too much purchase around these parts. Well, as I stated in my other video, we have seen multiple times where Disney is actually trying to indoctrinate your children. They're openly sitting there saying, yes, we are trying to push sexual identity and sexual ideology into child's programming. They've said this from their own mouths. There's videos that have leaked. It's all over the internet. It's not people making it up. So again, they're just hoping that people don't do research and don't look up this stuff for their own. But unfortunately, you have people out there on Twitter and YouTubers who bring this stuff to light so you can see for your own eyes that it's not
all
made
those
up nonsense.
Hollywood
it is
people,
reality.
not all of them,
They continue
most
to say
of them, I
following
think, are
that money
into this
leads
kind of
back
stuff,
to a more unsavory
involved in it
net
in one way or another.
of astroturfed boosterism among the far-right fringe, a constellation of paranoids now attempting to spin a cause out of a movie with vaguely simpatico leanings. The uninitiated may not pick up on the red yarn and corkboard subtext pinned onto a mostly straightforward extraction mission in South America, pretty much taken with a faint whiff of something noxious in the air. Those tuned into the eardrum, perforating frequencies of, however, have heeded a clarion call that leads right to the multiplex. These lefty lunatics
they're
are
crazy.
absolutely out of their mind. For them to sit there and try to spin trafficking as some type of right-wing conspiracy. It's pretty clear that this is the biggest problem facing the world at this
It's
point.
definitely not a
our nation.
conspiracy.
Again, this isn't some type of fake news thing.
No.
We have seen multiple times by multiple publications about how child trafficking is a horrible and real situation. If you look over here, Republican senators want feds to explain losing 85,000 migrant children. This is back in April of 2023, so not that long ago. It says a pair of Republican senators are demanding the federal officials account for how they reportedly lost track of 85,000 migrant children over the past 2 years. Now, keep in mind, if the federal government knows that you owe the IRS money in any way, shape, or form, they're not going to forget that.
That's true.
They're going to make sure that they get their money or they throw your ass in jail. But children, who cares, right? Now, I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, it's a New York Post. It's probably not the most reputable source. But this isn't coming from the New York Post. It says here, the clamor from Senator Marsha Blackburn and Josh Hawley comes on the heels of a February New York Times report that the Department of Health and Human Services had been unable to contact thousands of unaccompanied minors who were placed with sponsors after crossing the border, raising fears that they may have been trafficked for cheap labor. So this isn't coming...
Not all of it's for cheap labor either, if you get my meaning. And I heard about this before. Out of 200,000 people, they were saying, I think, now don't quote me on this, but I think they said 200,000 people that came over the border, 85,000 of them were kids and they're unaccounted for. Where are they?
From Fox News or the New York Post or anyone else considered a right-wing publication, this is the New York Times, which is fairly left-leaning. But facts don't matter when it comes to these people. All they want to do is push ideology, and all they want to do is push propaganda. Now, you would probably sit there and wonder and say, why would The Guardian want to do this? For what purpose, right? Well, if you don't know about The Guardian, it says here on the actual Guardian's website, how do they get their money? How are they funded? Well,
okay, there's the answer right there.
Raises funds from private foundations, corporations, government entities, and private donors that share our goal to support independent journalism and promote freedom of press. Do you want to know one of the biggest foundations that funds this organization? Well, it's this foundation. Probably not that surprised by seeing this, considering that this person has certain ties to a Jeffrey Epstein. As you can see here, Here's a photo of them hanging out, and we all know probably by now the multiple interviews that he's had speaking about Epstein, how he was a mistake hanging out with him and how he was being blackmailed. But this person and his foundation supports this publication. And then this publication pushes out this type of article. Maybe I'm just going down the rabbit hole too much. Maybe I'm just wrong and crazy. I don't know.
It all
But
leads
the
to
fact
it.
that these people are trying to spin this movie as you're some type of right-wing lunatic for wanting to go see this, or you're for wanting to see this, is absolute insanity and really shows you just how evil these people are and how there are evil people in this world. It's really sad. It's really
They're
disgusting.
all over the place.
I don't understand how bringing awareness to something this big of a deal would be bad in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. I just thought this was crazy and was worth bringing up. But let me know what you guys think about this below. I always love to hear your thoughts about this type of stuff. So if you like this video, please hit that like button down below. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you like this type of content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I would definitely appreciate the help with that. So until next time, take care.
Oh, and if you can do it, share this video with all of your friends so it gets out there. And, yeah, share it as much as you can. Thanks. Okay, well, that's from a channel called A Common Idiot. And I like his stuff. I like this. I think it's real informative. I will really want to see the movie, but I can't. I use a walker to get around, just to put it out there. And the only theater even close to me, probably have to walk the length of 2 football fields through the parking lot and through the casino to get into the theater. And I just can't do it. Can't do it. But it's going to be coming on streaming on what's called the Angel Network. And I don't know exactly when, but you can get the Angel Network. They actually have a Roku channel. And it's free. So also, there's a way, I don't know exactly how, you could probably go to the website, The Sound of Freedom, and there's a way to get free tickets to it if you can't afford it. They have a pay it forward type thing where you can buy tickets for someone else, or if you message them, they'll give you free tickets to go see the movie. So, in my opinion, I don't know, it makes it kind of suspect why they're trying to suppress this. Who are they protecting? You know, I'm not going to say just because of YouTube and everything, but what I think. But I think you can all put it together. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments down below. Now we'll leave things with a joke. You know, I think I might have the smartest dog in the world. I asked it what 2 minus 2 was. It said nothing.